Hi, this is WoodCycle's 20th anniversary. We've been around since 2001 and an idea for several years before that. We are celebrating our customers today. We've been working with urban trees from here in the Madison area and Dane County for that entire time, always focusing on trees that have a story with them. And trees that need to come down for some reason from somebody's backyard, and making anything from dining tables to fireplace mantels, kitchen cabinets, flooring, almost anything that can be made from wood we can make here at the WoodCycle, and we've been doing that now for years.
And drink that cool water till I get my fill.
So when we started, we were doing a few logs at a time, basically friends and family, and maybe 30, 40 logs a year. Now, so far this year, I think we're over 459 on a log I can see from here. And in terms of board footage, in terms of quantity of lumber, 50,000 board foot is an average annual number. About a third of that goes to one of the two habitat restores in Madison for other woodworkers to use, and the rest of it is something we either sell here or use here. In terms of quantity you think of for carbon sequestration, which is a big issue right now, it's the equivalent of 25 cars a year that go through this facility. The fuel used by 25 average drivers in the Madison area goes into the trees in the Madison area, and when those trees come down, we're making it into products that will be protected from the environment for as long as those people own those products.
Good morning. Welcome to the WoodCycle. My name is Matt McCoy. I've been here for about 7 years, and I run the log and lumber division here. Part of that operation is our sawmill here. We are working with about 95% urban logs. That just meaning urban logs are trees that are coming down for reasons other than harvest. So construction activity, disease, storm damage. This log you see here is a black walnut log that came down from storm damage, and these urban logs are logs that historically would be just made into chips or firewood. They were logs that bigger mills really they're not desirable to cut because of their weird shapes. They don't really yield a lot of lumber, but these are the type of trees that these urban trees have great stories behind them. There's people that care deeply about these trees, that have personal memories from them, and the ability here to take a log and turn it into lumber and then make it into furniture for a home and put it back in a house maybe that the tree came from is a really cool thing to be a part of.
When we started doing this, the thought was basically, I grew up on a family farm that had been in the family for more than 100 years, and every tree on that property meant something to us. So when they came down, we took those trees to a local sawmill and worked with them. In the years since, well, even before that, we had Dutch elm disease that came and wiped out the elms in the Midwest and throughout the country. And then starting in 2002, we started dealing with emerald ash borer across the country, and that has really awakened society, both on the need to diversify the landscape as far as the types of trees that they plant, but also to think more local. Instead of having insect pests or disease coming from across the planet, why not work in terms of local trees? So the last trees that are coming down in Madison, we've been able to use them in projects that are going back into our community here.
Because it's not very straight, it won't yield that much lumber. So a typical sawmill would not be very interested in this log, but there'll be some interesting grain in it for sure. And so these are the type of logs that we routinely deal with. So if you can see these boards now, the walnut is a very distinctive heartwood, which is very dark color, and then this outside portion is called sapwood, which is very blonde, and it'll stay that way. So at this point, I would continue to rotate the log until I had what's called a cant, which would be a square piece, and then I would start taking boards like you see here. So this is our lumber kiln here in the back. So yeah, these would come off the sawmill. They have those. These pieces here are called stickers. And again, that's when those fans blow, it's allowing that air to flow through the pile and evenly dry the boards. You can see the cinder blocks on top of the piles. That's to make sure the top layers don't warp really bad. So you want some weight on top of it. That'll help them dry flat. The kiln drying can take drying wood can take a really long time depending on how thick you're going. This wood has been in our kiln for about 5 weeks so far, and it was cut on the mill and put pretty much right in the kiln. So it didn't do any air drying beforehand. But it's been in there for 5 weeks, and I'd anticipate probably about 3 more weeks that it'll be in there. And that's based on the species of wood as well as the thickness of the wood.
It's one of the things that even today, with our current sawing, we still want to know where the tree is in the yard. In this case, we actually cut it in the yard. That slab, when it was first cut, weighed 800 pounds. We had to cut them into slabs just to get them out of the yard. We couldn't get a crane close enough to lift that log out. So kind of a slow process to get it out of the yard. But location in the yard tells you a lot about what's in the tree. You know, a front yard tree, there might be the sign or something like that, maybe a bird feeder. Backyard tree, you got clotheslines, you got hammocks, you got climbing trees. Actually, climbing trees could be anywhere in the yard. It's more a question of the shape of the tree.